a conditional statement is essentially an if-then statement. And there's two parts to our conditional statement. There's the hypothesis, which is the if part, and then the conclusion is the then part. So let's say we have two phrases here. Okay, we're going to say that P represents you earned a 95%, or you got 95% of the points. 95% of the points. Right, and then Q we'll say is you earned an A. Whoops, you earned an A. Okay, you earned an A. Okay, so our conditionals can be written as P then Q. So that's if P then Q. So that's going to tell us if you got 95% of the points. So if you got 95% of the points, then Q is true. Then you earned an A. So then Q. So if P then true, Q is, that's our conditional. So if you got a 95%, right? If you're 95% of the points, then you got an A. So this is our hypothesis, the if part of this. So if you got a 95% of the points, that's our hypothesis. Right? And then the conclusion is your then statement. So if you earn 95% of the points, then you get an A. Okay, that's Q. All right, let's look at an example that they have for us. So example number 1 here. Okay, if, so we want to write a conditional, write it as a conditional statement. So you can register to vote if you are at least 18 years old. So you have a hypothesis and the conclusion. The hypothesis is going to go with the if statement. So if we want to rewrite this as a pure conditional, we're going to say if you are at least 18 years old, at least 18 years old, right? That's your hypothesis. This is, okay. Then you can register to vote. Register to vote. Okay, that's going to be our conclusion. So then you can register to vote is our conclusion. Conclusion. Okay. So if we look at our solution here, the hypothesis, right, is the if part. Conclusion is the then part. And so if we write it over again, we're going to say, if you're at least 18 years old, then you may register to vote. Okay. Example number 2 here. Oops. Let's do this. And oh, it's not going to erase here. But a square must have 4 congruent sides. Okay, so if we're going to write it as a conditional, we have to have a hypothesis. So that's going to be the square. So let's use different colors here. Okay, so if it's a square, whoops. So if it's a square, then it must have 4 congruent sides. That's going to be your conclusion. And if we look here at the solution, our hypothesis, right? If square must have is, that's just the hypothesis, a square, right? So if it's a square, then it must have 4 congruent sides. So if we write it as an if then, as a conditional, there it is.